Hey everybody, I am Dr. Aquila Faye. That's A-C-Q-U-I-L-L-A. Faye, F-A-Y-E. Here in North Carolina, coming to you, right here in Raleigh, the capital city. I am a healer, an author, a speaker, and an educator. Overall, I'm me. I get to be a creative while being a mother, all at the same time. My message in life: live love, love life, be you, know that God is real, love heals. And I never share my age because that's another one of those boxes just so people can determine what's your value. So we're gonna say I am 1,486 times another 1,000 spiritual rotations. Mwah. Love you.
Yes, you already know the vibes.
Hey everyone, my name is Abigail Wusu-Ansah, Abby for short. I'm 24 years old. I'm from Ghana, West Africa, but I grew up in Northern Virginia. I'm a quality engineer for a company called Boston Scientific, and my message for you all is stay true to yourself and be a light to others.
Hey everyone, my name is MERIAM. I'm 25 years old. I am Ethiopian and I live in Northern Virginia. My occupation is student, and I want to leave with you today just a motto or quote that I said earlier in the video. But it is, if God is making you wait, then be prepared to receive more than what you've asked for. Thank you.
Hello everybody, my name is BRIA. I am 25. I am a military brat, but right now I'm claiming the DMV for now. I am a full-time creative, and some words I would like to leave with you guys is, you gotta take that L so you can feel that dub, okay? The bigger the L, the bigger the dub.
Hi everyone, my name is Taylor. I am 23 years old from Northern Virginia. My occupation is a full-time master's student, and my message to you is don't forget to laugh.
Yeah.
Describe your upbringing as a child.
Oh, I got this one. I grew up in a very disciplined household. My mom is a minister, and both my parents were in the military, so kept it bright and tight and all that. Yeah. I also grew up, this is kind of embarrassing, but I kind of grew up alone.
Oh yeah.
So even though I have a sibling.
And that's okay.
And it's okay.
Yeah.
We're better now. Our relationship is a lot better now. Now that we're older, so I'm very happy about that. But yeah, I was like a rambunctious little child, but I was good. Like I was good in school, and I didn't get in trouble really.
Like Taylor, I was also in a military family. Both my parents were in the military. So I moved around a lot, and that meant I just had to learn how to adapt and make friends with everybody. So I think growing up like that, just having structure, my mom was also a teacher, so like education was a big one. Being younger, I was just like really focused on my studies, being a good student, just trying to be like as adaptable as possible, just being like having to move and uproot yourself. And I grew up overseas as well, so like being without your extended family, or like barely even have your own family. Like dad was deployed, so like having to rely on my family, like I had to do that, like a little unit, and being able to like reach out to even people who are not in your family and consider those people family. So like military people, real tight. So I think that was a good experience. Being somewhere new, especially as a child, gave you like a world experience, because I feel like a lot of these people up in America, they don't know any better. They haven't been nowhere.
Yeah.
And they think this is normal. It's not.
Yeah, it's
not.
not.
So just having a more expansive like worldview very young. I'm very appreciative of being in the military. Like teaches you a lot about just what's important and how to like stand on that.
Now, I grew up on a farm, but I also went to school in the suburbs. But then I had friends from the hood. I started traveling the world internationally when I was 14, I believe. First went to Italy and Greece. And then I started modeling and acting when I was 6. And I started reading and writing and like just doing like little impromptu speeches and teaching when I was 3. So I literally have been like this forever. Intergenerational household, I think that's important. So I grew up grandparents, my mother, uncles, aunts, cousins, all in one house. Then people moved out, we stayed. Then finally went to college, entered into the adult world. You know, the young adulthood is like a roller coaster. And I don't ride roller coasters, but I imagine it is like being on the roller coaster where it's like really fun and then it's like really scary. And then sometimes you're questioning like, why did I even get on this thing? You know what I mean? But then you finish it, you're like, oh, I want to do it again. That was young adult life. Into adulthood, I always say pre-mommy and post-mommy, because pre-mommy was a different person than post-mommy. Because now I'm responsible for another life, another soul. And he's his own person. You know, and I had to grow into accepting he's his own person, which will go back to my foundation of, they always let me know I was me. They're like, you're beautiful, you're smart, you can do anything you want to do, but you're no more beautiful or no more smart than anybody else. Everybody has something to offer. And never hold hate in your heart for people. You know, you can hate what people do, but don't hate the actual soul of the person, because we're all creations of God and we all have something to give, different value, which goes into me being like, if you cut the grass, that's just as important as the people who plant the trees, which is just as important as the people who make the roads, which is just as important as the people who do heart surgery. Because you couldn't even have a hospital if you didn't have construction workers. You know, but then you couldn't have the construction workers, you didn't have the architect. And you couldn't have the architect, you didn't have the math teacher. So everybody's role is so interconnected. And growing up on the atmosphere where I used to come home from school, and the funniest thing, I would get like elementary foundation, right? I would get off the bus. First I had to get past like this crazy behind dog that was at the top of the road and hope it was on the chain. Get past him. Then there was a pen with some goats in it. I had to get by the goats. Once I got by the goats, up on the other hill, well, same side of the street, there was 2 more dogs. This old man, he used to have these, I mean, he was married, but Mr. Tops and Miss Robina, their dogs was like, I think they just took mutts and just put them on chains. So as long as they were still chained up, it was good. They won't, it won't. But I got real good at track. You know what I'm saying? I got real good at like paying attention and being observant. Then when I got home, my chores was go to the chicken pen, feed the chickens, get the eggs, wash the eggs, go feed the hogs. Once I finished that, rake the yard if the leaves need to be raked, then do my homework, then I could play. So I learned to be really efficient, which as an adult has made me, I started working at 13 and a half because I wanted to be, you know, grown. I wanted to have my own food, my own clothes. So my granddaddy said, well, when you work, get your own money, you can do that. So that's what I did. He encouraged me. And now as an adult, sometimes I just take breaks because I'm so used to working and running around all the time and having to do this, and this. I think sometimes I like structure and sometimes I'm just like structure and just be free because I had so much structure, but it was also free at the same time. I always got to be me, always got to have fun, but always had to handle responsibility first and have fun. Learning that balance at a young age was really important, I would say, looking back and thinking about it. Like, yeah, that was imperative.
Yeah, so very similar to Taylor, Christian household. I grew up primarily with my mom. My dad was lived around, but they were divorced, so I would see him here and there, but mostly my mom. So I was a really good child as well. I was also low-key by myself, but I didn't even realize. It wasn't until people were like, oh, I used to do this with my siblings. I was like, yeah, my brother was in his room, I was in my room, we were doing our own thing. So yeah, and like her, our relationship got better as we grew older because we're 10 years apart. But yeah, I'll just be playing video games, straight A's, nothing less. It wasn't allowed. Oh, African household too, so structure, yeah.
Yeah, so I lived in I still live in Ethiopian Muslim household. I lived in PG County until 6th grade. So my elementary school was just 99.9% black. And it was weird because when I moved here to Nova, or Northern Virginia, that was the first time I've even seen any other ethnicities. So Chinese, Indian, white, all of that. But my upbringing was, it was pretty standard, mom, dad, Quran school on Saturdays, and regular school on the like weekdays, but I had so many like intersectionalities, like being Ethiopian, being Muslim, and kind of discovering like how I fit in America and all that stuff. So, but overall, like my upbringing, thank God, like was pretty good. Can't complain about anything.
So I'm originally from Greensboro, North Carolina. If you're familiar with, like, of course, A&T and stuff like that. We moved to Richmond. My mom is from Richmond. We moved back to Richmond when I was like 4 or 5 years old. At first, we was living in Southside, and that's when I started cheering for Blackwell, which is a recreation center and a side of town in Southside. But then we moved to the West End, so I started going to school in the West End. And just growing up in basically the inner city. That's what I'm getting at. Living in the West End, like Randolph, stuff like that. I still live over there. And, having the South Side, it was like I really had like I feel like the biggest parts of of Richmond is really what cultivated, like, you know what I'm saying, who I am today, as far as you would know when it comes to that. But I lived in a dual parent household. I think I'm saying that right. With my mother and my father. I have an older sister. I have a younger brother.
What is one lesson life keeps teaching you? It can be in different ways.
I will say what is standing out to me is that, like, it's really all on you. Like, nobody owes you anything. You feel what I'm saying? Like, if you're lucky enough to, have someone that, does want to help you, or if you're lucky enough to have people around you that motivate you and, help you out when need be, that's all great and cool. But at the end of the day, if you want to make something with yourself and out of life, like, it's really all on you. And at the end of the day, if you're not getting stuff done, and if you're not, being consistent in nothing, all you can blame is yourself. Like, that's just like what it is. It's, yeah.
I got all these country phrases for this one. I'm trying to reword it from how it was told to me. So, what people eat don't make you go to the bathroom. What people think about you is none of your business. And your vision isn't to be understood by everybody. So, in other words, you gotta be confident in yourself. I gotta be confident in myself. You gotta be confident in yourself and rock out and be you. Stop worrying about everybody else.
Meeting people with grace. Day after day, I find that, like, the more I act outside of my character and, like, what's true to myself, it comes back to bite really fast, and it's getting quicker and quicker as I grow in faith and, like, evolve as an individual. So, like, you'll always say, like, people always say it can never be me, but, like, it could be you.
It could be most definitely.
Life will show you it could be you. So I would say that's a big thing. Like, if somebody does something to offend you or operates in a way that you don't necessarily like, you don't have to be best friends with them, but, like, that was you to somebody else at one point in time. So you got to meet them with grace and understanding and kind of just be that beacon of light to help them. We don't want to keep making the world worse. We want to make it better. So.
I think for me, a lesson that keeps slapping me in the face is that economic gain and material things isn't really what I'm seeking to be, like, happy or content with life. Really what I'm seeking is just, like, an ultimate sense of, like, well-being, whether it be, like, mentally, physically, spiritually, religiously. And I think the reason why this lesson keeps slapping me in the face is because of, like, the environment that I'm in, and capitalism, and everyone's capitalism, and everyone just trying to, like, gain. But that's really not what I want, or what I'm really seeking. Like, even if I have money, I know that's not what's going to keep me content in life. It's just me being, like, mentally sound, because when I am, like, centered, then I'm able to make conscious decisions, and I'm able to, like, live life in, a grander sense than just, like, the material things that is here. So I think that's why it keeps slapping me in the face, because everyone, and it's more and more when people are talking about, like, I don't know, like, I feel like that's what everyone's striving for, and I know that they're gonna realize, like, sooner rather than later that that's really not, like, once you have it, so and what? Then you just keep thinking about more and more and more. So I just want to make sure that I'm always, like, mentally, spiritually, like, sound.
I think one of life's lessons has definitely been meeting people with grace, but on top of that, I think something that God has been telling me a lot in different circumstances is that I'm not in control and I need to humble myself and, you know, be willing to seize that, you know, control to him. Because I really am the type of person who like has to have my hand in things. Like I'm trying to, you know, influence my life as much as possible and, you know, make favorable circumstances, favorable outcomes for different situations. But it's just like at some point, Taylor, you're not going to be able to do it all, and you can't just lean on your own capabilities to get things done or, you know, succeed in life and anything, honestly. So that's been like a really big lesson, and just like really humbling myself. Like, wow, I really need the Lord each and every day to do absolutely everything. I think too highly of myself sometimes. Like, Taylor, you can't do anything, really. You know, you know. So I have to tell myself that like I'm nothing without him. So
God laughs when you try to make plans.
literally.
I think that's something that I learned time and time again, is that I'm not on my own timing. Like, and that you can have a plan for yourself, and what is meant for you is already on the way. So the more that you try to force something that, again, is not in your control, like, it starts to deteriorate how you feel about yourself and the trust that you have in like what's meant for you, and just your faith and all that stuff. But I just can't. Yes.
It hit too hard, didn't it?
No, it did. It did. Whatever's meant for you is on the way, and just know that.
Oh, I don't know if you don't have to keep this in, but I want to add on that it's important to be like financially literate, it's financially stable, but that's not ultimately like the end all goal of life.
What are your keys to managing the daily stresses and routine of life?
I will say now I've actually developed a morning routine. So I'll, you know, get up, pray, read my affirmations. I have like on my door in my room, I have all my my goals and affirmations and quotes and things like that. Read that. Working out, followed up by, you know, of course, like a bath sometimes, or like, you know, a shower, and then having like my tea. That really puts me in really good spirits for the whole day, as far as just getting through life and all of its motions and stuff. When I don't do that exact routine, I feel it. I feel it in my energy, and I feel it throughout the entire day. And I normally can't wait to, you know, wake up, try again the next day or whatever.
I would say I don't do this every day, but not so much meditating, but at least taking a mental break, like actually scheduling out time that I don't think about what's ever stressing me out for the day, or kind of whatever I'm being called to do that day. I take some time to have some me time and to allow my brain to relax, if that's meditating, if that is watching some Netflix, if that is perusing Pinterest, whatever. I block out some me time every day, no matter what, or I just feel like myself personally, my brain would not be able to handle it. It just wouldn't. So having that me time, most of the time it's meditating, but it could just be anything.
For me, it's been, with COVID, it's been hard to kind of like stick to my usual like routine and schedule, but it's really important for me to go outside and take a walk, look out in the trees, like, you know, get in some nature, some sun, some serotonin. I mean, it's winter now, so it's a little bit harder, but I have to go outside and just take like you said, like a mental break. And also, if I start my day off on my phone, my day is ruined, like off the bat. So I need to make sure I don't look at my phone for like the first hour of my day, and kind of like just set in like what my intentions are to like achieve for that day. But yeah, going outside, going for a walk, praying, meditating. I don't journal, but I know journaling is a good way to kind of like relieve stress, but that's what I do.
So my first key is just to always have gratitude. Gratitude literally changes your attitude. Perfect example, I used to get mad about all these dishes I had, right? Like, dang, I got all these dishes. Tired of having all these dishes. I'm gonna get paper plates. Then my son like to recycle. So then it's like, oh Lord, now he gonna be upset because, Mommy, we're hurting the environment. Styrofoam, you can't recycle, right? And I'm like, okay, cool. Then I was like, well, dang, where did dishes come from? They came from us eating. Well, how are we able to eat? We got food. But where we get food from? Out of the refrigerator, or we cooked it, or we ordered it. But how did I get the food to be able to cook or eat. Oh, I got money. How I get money? Oh, because my business is working and I got steady income. Dang, how's my business working? I got steady income because I put myself out there, fill out the applications, and I have people who like my services and come back. So looking at situations in a reverse manner. You know, it doesn't mean that I don't get frustrated or something like that. When I do get frustrated, a lot of times, because me and my son are together all the time, I'll go and I'll give myself a personal time out. We call it mommy time. Like, mommy need mommy time, mommy need a mommy break. And I'll literally just go outside and chill by myself for a minute, breathe. Sometimes, like even in the middle of the day, if I have an opportunity, I'll take a nap or I'll take a bath. Music, something creative. And sometimes I'll just binge watch TV, yo. Like Hell's Kitchen, all day. House shows, all day. And when I really, this isn't a daily thing, but like those days when it's just like, what in the world? I will either just scream, like literally scream at the top of my lungs, into a pillow, or while sitting in my car, or I'll find a spot in the park, and just get that energy out like that. Like just that instant, like, and just get that out. So that's kind of what I recommend, like find your thing. Silence is very soothing. And then sometimes screaming or tearing something, as long as you're not hurting nobody, is also very soothing. So being peace don't always look like peace. You know, fire can burn you and fire can warm you. You just gotta learn how to operate that fire for the right time in the right place for yourself.
For me, gotta start off the day with the Lord. Gotta pray. I need to take frequent breaks or else I burn out. So if I work for long periods of time, my brain just doesn't function well. So prayer, taking breaks, and yeah.
What about you, bud?
Oh, reading too, sorry.
I ignore my problems.
Oh my gosh. Okay, toxic habit.
You know, but we're trying
This
to
is
do
what I
we're
say.
trying to do better.
Yeah.
We're working on it. We're trying to do better.
Self-awareness.
You know, self-aware. So yes. No, but I pray in the morning. I do my devotionals and things of that nature. But for the rest, I ignore my problems. So.
At least you're being
Keeping
honest.
it honest.
Oh my gosh.
That's why I'm waiting for you to blow up.
Oh gosh. So, alright, next question.
What is one of the greatest challenges you endured in your life? How did you overcome it?
Well, I don't know about overcoming it, but I think one of the greatest challenges that I've been dealing with is coming off of a terrible knee injury. I tore my ACL, my MCL, and my meniscus in 2 places back in like 2018, I would say. And as someone who's just been like an athlete for literally forever, and I always dance, like it was really difficult to be injured and not be able to like move around, do what I want to do, and even have to like lean on other people to help me, and like, you know, I just hated that. So yeah, still dealing with it. My knee's not what it is anymore, and I can't do like the activities that I would normally want to do. Like I would love to, you know, still go out there and compete, but right now it's not in that state. So I think that's been the most difficult thing, and like kind of accepting that I'm not gonna be the same Taylor that I was for the last 20 whatever years. So yeah, I haven't necessarily overcome it. It's like, you know, trying to figure it out. But one thing that I am trying to do is find a new hobby, because that was literally my hobby for my entire life. And like, it was like being an athlete was a part of my identity. So trying to find a new hobby.
Puzzles.
It's not a real hobby though. It's not a real hobby.
It's something to start.
It's just something to do.
Thanks for sharing.
Wow. Thank you, everyone.
Oh my god.
It's just a lot.
That's okay. That's okay.
All right. Oh, team on my back. I see.
For me, it was after graduating, I had to move to a location that I would never even dream of moving to, which was Indiana, which was in the middle of nowhere with no friends or family. So, and also to be in a very interesting, racially tense environment, I'll just put it that way. So kind of adjusting, being more independent on my own without much support physically, and kind of dealing with imposter syndrome and like a environment where like I'm the only person that looked like me. I was the only black engineer in like 3 departments. So it was a very interesting transition.
Honestly, I would say losing the relationship I once had with my father. I don't even know if I'm over it now. I said that so dramatically. But you know, for like 18 years of my life, I was a daddy's girl. Like, you couldn't tell me nothing about my father. Like, nothing. But like, you know, within the recent years, our relationship is no longer like that. And I just feel like as a woman, like, you really need your father. So it's been not detrimental, but in the heights of it all, it's definitely hit different as far as the pain. You know, your parents are supposed to be your safety net. Like, in, you know, unlike a lot of my peers and, you know, friends growing up, I was in a double, you know, parent household. You know, my parents were married, you know, whatever. So when that, you know, all happened, and then he changed how he treated me, it was really like a different type of pain. Because, you know, as a woman, that's supposed to be like your first love, your first, you know, whatever. He's supposed to essentially show you how you're supposed to be treated, you know, going into relationships and things of that nature. But I would say getting over it just by praying, forgiving him, not even for him, but for myself. Because, you know, pain like that can be taken out on everybody you are close to. So I would never want to be toxic or, you know, damage goods or project any type of insecurity on other people, especially if that pain wasn't, you know, if they didn't cause it.
So for me, it's not the greatest challenge, but something that comes to mind is when I decided not to pursue medical school. And it was a challenge because my parents and other family in Ethiopia and other places had expectations on me, and they put some kind of like pressure on me to pursue something that I knew wasn't for me. And I was actually on the route of doing so. I was like studying for the MCAT and everything, but I just realized that I'm on this journey, like it's my life, and I'm gonna be the one who has to study and go to school and go to residency and all that stuff, not them. And they don't realize like how hard it is, especially in America, like how intense medical school is. So I just, you know, was just like, this is my life. This is that's not something that I want to do. So that's how I overcame it. I just moved on and decided to pursue something else.
Again, to piggyback off what you said, especially with like career moves, especially like postgraduate, it was a little hard for me having to step back from one of my first jobs that I got out of college. It kind of said a lot about how I was thinking about my capabilities with what I do, and it made me rethink a lot of things in terms of like what being successful meant. So it was a lot to, I guess, the ego, now that I look back at it, having to come home and adjust to losing some of the freedom that you had, being able to what you have after you graduate. So that was a little bit of a learning curve, but I've definitely had to just root myself in just affirmations about my capabilities and remind myself of my worth and what I can do and what I will not tolerate and what something says about me and what it doesn't. So I'm not my circumstances, so I've just learned a lot, having to step back and be a little humble sometimes. Yeah.
These sirens that always want to come up whenever I'm doing interviews outside and having to pretend they're not there. Which is just like, I would say, any moment in life where the unexpected occurs. So that could be trusting a person, that could be having a vision and not following through with it because something unexpected happens. I'm a mother and a teacher. So children by themselves are designed to be sporadic and spontaneous and just bring about questions and do things that sometimes make no sense to me as an adult, but make a lot of sense to them. And then them wanting to get understanding of that. And working with different people, doing healing work and educational work, wellness work. That particularly causes challenges sometimes because I have to work with people to not only unlearn, but to relearn, and also to accept that even if they don't want to unlearn, that too is okay. And that self-acceptance is a challenge with helping others. And I would say it's easy for me to help others because I had to grow through self-acceptance by understanding a lot of the challenges, abuses, and just different ups and downs in life, and really learning how to be okay with them, and not just like, I'm cool, I'm chilling, but like, seriously, like, it's a part of the journey, it's a part of who I am. Those decisions happen for a reason. Those occurrences happen for a reason. And it wasn't always to learn something. Sometimes just because I was being hard-headed and accepting that. Like, everything is not because the great divine ordained it. Some stuff we put on ourselves. You know, the warnings are there, the signs are there, and we don't listen. We don't heed. And sometimes we let fear lead us in the path that's opposite of what we desire, because we're like, you know, should I? Who am I? Like, what do I look like doing something like that? And I would say that's thematic. Something thematic I've seen for myself and for others.